During the 21st Century Cures roundtables, we often heard about the cures gap, the enormous gulf between approved therapies and known diseases, which leave many patients with no treatment to turn to. Patients in the rare disease community understand this challenge, where market realities often make it more difficult to develop therapies for diseases with smaller patient populations. I believe there's great promise in repurposing drugs. In fact, earlier this year I introduced the Open Act with my colleague Representative Butterfield, who had to leave to see the ambassador. It would foster research to increase the number of safe, effective, and affordable rare disease medicines for patients by incentivizing drug manufacturers to repurpose their approved products for rare disease indications by providing an additional 6 months of market exclusivity when a product is repurposed and approved by the FDA for the treatment of a rare disease. 95% of rare diseases have no FDA-approved treatments. My first question is to Director Hudson and, of course, to Dr. Woodcock. Can you comment on how repurposing already approved drugs may hold therapeutic promise for rare disease populations?
So I think there's a number of examples where drugs that were initially approved or pursued for one indication have proven to be effective for other indications, and in some cases those have been rare and neglected diseases. We appreciate very much your interest in this area and really look forward to working with you to come up with a provision that will be appropriate for being able to actively pursue this area where there is such opportunity to accelerate the delivery of new medications for patients that really need them.
Thank you. Dr. Woodcock?
Well, I think we need, in rare diseases, you need to understand something about the disease, and then, of course, having a range of therapies that you can try and being able to pick from those because you understand something about which is the example Dr. Hudson just gave about Alzheimer's. So obviously, there's a whole range of treatments out there, and those that have not made it to the market would expand that universe of things that could be tried. So I think as disease understanding improves in rare diseases, there's an opportunity to try many compounds.
Thank you. Next question. What incentives are currently available that encourage research into rare and orphan applications in drugs that are already approved by the FDA for a separate indication? We'll start with Director Hudson and then Dr. Woodcock.
So there are specific research programs at the NIH, including the Office of Rare Diseases, the Therapeutics for Rare and Neglected Diseases. There's a number of programs that are specifically focused on supporting research for diseases that affect a small number of people in the population. And then in addition, and Dr. Woodcock can address this, there are incentives and a pull from her end as well.
Yeah, the Orphan Drug Act was a very successful program that's brought many, many treatments to rare diseases, and it includes incentives during the development as well as exclusivity provisions after a drug is marketed for that indication.
Thank you. Sir, would you like to comment as well?
So we have a program, the Humanitarian Device Exemption, to facilitate and incentivize the development of devices for rare disorders. And I actually want to compliment the committee because there is a provision in this bill that will now change the cap for HDEs and I think potentially provide greater incentives for device development in this area.
Very good. Thank you very much.